Welcome. Hold on, let me bring my friend over here. Here we go. Welcome to the X-Ray Podcast. I'm your host, Julio, with my co-host, Robert Barbosa. In today's episode, it will be, I will say, kind of lengthy one because we have to explain a lot of stuff that is going that is happening and going to happen if we're going on this path. But before we start, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also share this channel. Also, we have right here, you can see our social media right there. So how's it going, brother?
Oh man, it's going good. Just another day blessed. Uh, Thankful to be alive. That God, our Lord Yeshua, has given us another day. Man, I when you told me about this, I was like, man, this is something. Some might say it's a conspiracy. At one point, I would agree
Mhm.
with that, but we're at a point where we have this information, and it's no longer a conspiracy. Uh, this is something that's going on, and I hope our viewers appreciate what we're trying to, I guess, explain or show the facts. That's what's really going on.
I know. And basically, in summary, what we're going to explain is these ex KGB agent explaining the four stages of subversion of a country. So I was talking offline with my friend Roberto here, and I was telling him that we are close to a third stage. But I would like to get your opinion where we at as far as of which stage we are in. So it is all video to say the least. It's almost like 40 years old
Yeah,
video.
I think this was a lecture from
Yes.
1983, and the background to this guy, his name is
Beth.
Yuri. I don't want to massacre this. Besmenov.
Hmm.
Besmenov. He was a former KGB spy, right? That was working as a press in America, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you want to fact check me, Julio, but
Yeah,
are off.
he
But
worked in different jobs until he landed a job at the as a reporter.
yeah, and he's basically spilling the tea. He can no longer ever go, which I think he probably passed away by this point. Either
Hmm.
that, he's super old because he was old in 1982, right? 83,
83.
and
I believe he was like on his 60s, so he probably long gone. But yeah, let's play the first stage of subversion. Let's roll it.
okay, but before we go to that, Julio, because there's a lot of people that probably don't know what subversion means,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna say this real quick. Oxford languages describe subversion as the undermining of the power and authority of an established system or institution. Now, I'm gonna break it down for some of us, because I'm guilty. I'm kind of slow, so I went as far as ask ChatGPT to break it down so much so that an 8-year old can understand. And this is what it came up with, and I hope this helps clarity to you guys can see. But subversion is a big word that means trying to change or weaken something from the inside, usually a sneaky or secret way. Imagine if there was a big strong castle, and if someone wanted to make the castle weaker, instead of attacking it from the outside, they might try to trick the people inside to change the rules or make them not want to protect the castle anymore. The people that's supposed to be protecting the castle don't want to protect it anymore because they tricked those peoples to protecting the castle. Now, if you can tie that to United States, we are the people from the within the castle. Someone is tricking most of the people in this country not to be proud of their country and not want to protect it. So, subversion is like trying to change things quietly so that they don't work as well without being very obvious about it. It can happen in groups like schools or countries when someone wants to change how things are done without everyone knowing. So, this is where the video comes in, and I hope you guys conclude and what stage we are in America. So, you ready, Julio?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
Subversion is the term, if you look in a dictionary or criminal code to that matter, usually is explained as a part of activity to destroy things like religion, government, system, political, economical system of a country. And usually it's linked to espionage and such romantic things as blowing up bridges, sidetracking trains, cloak and dagger activity in Hollywood style. What I'm going to talk about now has absolutely nothing to do with the cliche of espionage or KGB activity of collecting information. So the greatest mistake or misconception, I think, is that whenever we are talking about KGB, for some strange reason, starting from Hollywood movie makers to professors of political science and quote-unquote experts on Soviet affairs, or Kremlinologists as they call themselves, they think that the most desirable thing for Andropov and the whole KGB is to steal blueprints of some supersonic jet, bring it back to Soviet Union and sell it to the Soviet military-industrial complex. It's only partly true. If we take the whole time, money, and manpower that the Soviet Union and KGB in particular spends outside of USSR border, we will discover, of course there are no official statistics unlike with CIA or FBI, that the espionage as such occupies only 10 to 15% of money, time, and manpower. 15% of the activity of KGB. The rest, 85%, is always subversion. And unlike a dictionary of English, Oxford Dictionary, subversion in Soviet terminology means always a destructive, aggressive activity aimed to destroy the country, nation, or geographical area of your enemy.
So did you hear that, Julio? Did you
Yeah.
hear what he said? What Oxford defines that word, and what the KGB defines that word. How different that word means.
Mhm.
So it's crazy because to me, I just can't help but to hear that it means an aggressive process to destroy an enemy nation or area without romanticizing espionage tactics. I mean, dude, they're their words are, I mean, compared to ours, like
Yeah,
it's deadly.
I know, and they'll be doing that for like now we're discovering all this because the internet and all this stuff, but we are in behind the power curve as like the main civilization, the main people, probably CIA, FBI, Mossad, and all those intelligence agencies. They're probably up to speed on it, but we as a regular civilians, we are not. Those terminologies for us were foreign. You know what I mean? We like subversion. What do you mean by that? And just a little minute people knew about it, but now we are seeing what he's about to say. We are seeing it in real life, in real time, and that is like for me that is incredible.
Yeah, and see, this is 1983. So the fact that this outline of a plan
Mhm.
was in 83, meaning in reality, KGB, we're talking about 1950s, 1970s. Okay.
Mhm.
So 1983, this is the playbook. And this playbook sounds so familiar of what these social democratic radicalists are doing. They're following this, and Hollywood's in complicit with this. Um, the universities are. I mean, our castle is already infiltrated. So when that quote was, people were saying the communists are coming, the communists are coming. Yeah, they're here. And this is why we're playing this, because I hope our viewers or whoever sees this videos sees the similarities and know what's going on. And I guess I'm going to continue. But yeah, right now he's basically on stage 3 going on to stage 4. So here we go. Or he's just like outlining it.
So there's no romantics in there, absolutely. No blowing up bridges, no microfilms in Coca-Cola cans, nothing of that sort. No James Bond nonsense. It's most of this activity is overt, legitimate, and easily observable if you give yourself time and trouble to observe it. But according to the law and law enforcement systems of the Western civilization, it's not a crime. Exactly because of misconception, manipulation of terms. We think that subverter is a person who is going to blow up our beautiful bridges. No. Subverter is a student who comes for exchange, a diplomat, an actor, an artist, a journalist like myself was 10 years ago. Now, subversion is an activity which is a two-way traffic. You cannot subvert an enemy which doesn't want to be subverted. If you know history of Japan, for example, before 20th century, Japan was a closed society. The moment a foreign boat comes to the shores of Japan, the Imperial Japanese Army politely tell them to get lost. And if American salesman comes to the shore of Japan, let's say 60 or 70 years from now back, and says, oh, I have a very beautiful vacuum cleaner for you, with the good financing, he says, please leave us, we don't need your vacuum cleaner. If they don't leave, they shoot them to preserve their culture, ideology, traditions, values intact. You were not able to subvert Japan. You cannot subvert Soviet Union because the borders are closed. The media is censored by the government.
Okay, I'm sorry, Julio. I'm going to stop this because right there, this is the playbook for those that are like, I don't understand why you guys are saying that the left wants to open borders. That right there, the two-way nature of subversion. Subversion requires a receptive target. Close societies like Japan and like what Donald Trump is trying to do right now, he's trying to close the borders so we don't have these entities coming within. So again, open borders leads to subversion. And this is what he's explaining right now. He's explaining exactly that a two-way nature of subversion doesn't exist. meaning you can't infiltrate what you can't get in. So this now, dude, this makes clear sense, and I hope shout out to everybody that's logging in. You know, so again, so this is explaining why the left wants open borders. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, this is their playbook right here.
it
We
is like
are.
a virus.
Mhm.
It is like a virus. It's like the Trojan horse. I mean, once you let him in, it's already too late. I mean, they
Yeah.
already. I mean, he said himself. He was a journalist 10 years ago. From that video, that means, given to your point, he was already in the system, infiltrating propaganda since like the 60s and 70s. So now we are living the consequences of it as of this moment, and we are now basically on the race to kind of, I will not say the word is too harsh, but we're trying to eradicate that problem right now. That's what we're trying to do. That's what the Donald Trump administration is trying to do, trying to get as many people out so they don't be radicalized and basically make the movement stronger. And we are, sadly, right now we are in a bad situation right now, just because
And
open border.
and pointing out what Ken Lee just said, and shout out from Australia. Yes, so here in America, we've been going through this. This guy is explaining this outline of why it's important we need borders in our country to keep our culture. But we're gonna proceed with this. Um, Here we go.
Population is controlled by the KGB and internal police. With all the beautiful glossy pictures of Time magazine and Magazine America, which is published by the American embassy in Moscow, you cannot subvert Soviet citizens because the magazine never reaches Soviet citizens. It's collected from the newsstands and thrown to garbage can. Subversion can be only successful when the initiator, the actor, the agent of subversion has a responsive target. It's a two-way traffic. United States is a receptive target of subversion. There is no response similar to that one from United States to the Soviet Union. It stops halfway somewhere. It never reaches here. The theory of subversion goes all the way back 2,500 years ago. The first human being who formulated the tactics of subversion was a Chinese philosopher by the name of Sun Tzu. 2,500 years BC. He was an advisor for several imperial courts in ancient China. And he said, after long meditation, that to implement state policy in a warlike manner, it's the most counterproductive, barbaric, and inefficient to fight on a battlefield. You know that war is continuation of state policy, right? So if you want successfully to implement your state policy and you start fighting, this is the most idiotic way to do it. The highest art of warfare is not to fight at all, but to subvert anything of value in the country of your enemy, until such time that the perception of reality of your enemy is screwed up to such an extent that he does not perceive you as an enemy, and that your system, your civilization, and your ambitions look to your enemy as an alternative, if not desirable, then at least feasible. Better red than dead. That's the ultimate purpose, the final stage of subversion, after which you can simply take your enemy without a single shot being fired, if the subversion is successful. This is basically what subversion is. As you see, not a single mentioning of
Dude, this is like, if anyone in America is hearing this, yes, Ken Lee, wow, it is powerful because this is exactly what's going on, dude.
Yeah. Now, like now we're seeing it. They're infiltrating. They infiltrate already the our education institution. Now you see this radicalized youth believing that communism is good for them and for
Yeah,
everybody, and now do not perceive or they do not
it is
see the
insane.
dangers of communism, even though history shows that communism does not work. It didn't work in Germany, it didn't work in Russia, it didn't work in China. All these
It's
revolutions,
it's
like
it's not working in North Korea. It's
it's not
not.
working in North Korea, but they do not believe communism exists on those countries. They believe that communism was not implemented properly. And that is insane. Even though you show them the proof, they do not believe it. And that is dangerous.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is dangerous because then how do you reason with these people, right? And these are
Mm,
supposed to be, especially these people that claim to be, academic. I'm sorry, academic, and you try to give them the facts, but because they're such ideologues and they believe in this brainwashing, because then I'm an academic, I am not. I'm smarter than all you people that never went
correct.
to a Ivy League school, so I can't be wrong. And that's where we're all subject to being brainwashed. And this is seriously, basically outlining what's been happening in our country.
Yep.
And this makes sense because, for Julio, before you showed me this, I had no idea. I had no reason to think, why do the left want open borders? It just doesn't make sense to me. Are they trying to gain voters, is what I was thinking, but then I was like, maybe, yeah, that could be it too. But seeing this and reading this looks like it's orchestrated, very, very meticulous to the T.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It is a danger that is within us. Now we have over 20 million people that not belong to that they do not belong here. But the problem lies to like they came like from different countries. They cross continents to come to United States just to basically when they come here criticize our country.
Yeah, wow.
I don't. It doesn't make sense. Let's go on. Let's keep going. Appreciate it.
blowing up bridges. Of course, Sanze didn't know about blowing up bridges. Maybe there were not that many bridges at that time. But the basics of subversion is being taught to every student of KGB school in USSR and to officers of military academies. I'm not sure if the same author is included in the list of reading for American officers, to say nothing about ordinary students of political science. I had difficulty to find the translation of Sanze in the library of a university in Toronto and later on here in Los Angeles. But it's a book which is not available. It is forced to every student in USSR. Every student who is taught to be dealing further in his future career with foreigners. What subversion is? Basically, it consists of 4 periods, time-wise. If we start from here and go this way, time, right? This is the beginning point. The first stage of subversion is the process which is called, basically, demoralization. It says for itself what it is.
Bro.
It takes from, say, 15 to 20 years to demoralize a society. Why 15 or 20 years? This is the time sufficient to educate one generation of students or children. One generation, one lifetime span of a person, a human being, which is dedicated to study, to shaping up the outlook, ideology, personality. No more, no less. Usually it takes from 15 to 20 years. What it includes? It includes influencing or by various methods, infiltration, propaganda methods, direct contacts, doesn't really matter. I will describe them later. Of various areas where public opinion is formulated or shaped. Religion, educational system, social life, administration, law enforcement system, military, of course, and labor and employer relations, economy. Okay?
Dude,
5 areas. I will not write them down because we will not have enough space. Sometimes when I describe all the methods, students ask me question, are you sure this is the result of the Soviet influence? Not necessarily. You see, the tactic of subversion, about which I'm talking, is similar to the martial art, the Japanese martial art. If some of you are familiar with that tactic, probably you will remember that if an enemy is bigger and heavier than yourself, it would be very painful to resist his direct strike. If a heavier person wants to strike me in the face, it would be very naive and counterproductive to stop his blow. The Chinese and Japanese judo art tells us what to do. First to avoid the strike, then to grab the fist
use
and
his force.
continue his movement
Yep.
in the direction where it was before, right? Until the enemy crashes in the wall. You see? So, what happens here? The target country.
Bro, this guy's right. You know, I practice Wing Chun, and that's one of the very first things too. That's why you know, Wing Chun is a form of kung fu. We stand in a triangle. Everything's in a triangle. Our whole stands in the triangle, and the same thing, right? We learn to dodge and use this force to to counter hit. You know, but so yeah, he's right. But the whole thing of the process that he's talking about then next religion, education, social life, power structure, law and order, and labor relations. Okay, so right now he's still talking about duration. When he was talking about that 15 to 20 years to educate one generation, dude, like I think I think they got such a good leap that they got
Yeah.
at least 3 generations in, because the 70s, the hippies and all that, they were too high. Those kids had basically our generation, right? And some of them might be crack babies, you know what I mean? So either way, point is educational was infiltrated. We were taught, the next generation, the 90s were taught,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 2000s they got taught. So far we got they got solid 3 hard generations in there. Some of us are waking up, hence what you showed us with this clip, Julio, which shout out because this is really educational. um so the next thing that he's going to talk about is really going to touch close to a bunch of us that have seen the attack on religion. Well, what are your thoughts so far?
Man, it is absolutely insane and crazy what he's talking about, because now we are seeing the desmoralization of like religion, our laws, our schools, our social life, everything that he touched. We actually seen it in real life, and now we are moving in so fast, like the speed of this subversion. Now we seeing it, like once you open your eyes, like you were saying, like once you understand what's going on and you see what happened before us and what's happening now, you can foresee what's going to happen tomorrow. And we seen it now. This moralization, I believe, for my opinion, this moralization portion is already done, completed. Now we are seeing the results of it. Now we're seeing, like you were saying, the youth that got before us, they got educated, And I remember back in the 80s and 90s, they were forcing going to college to our throats. I mean, down to the
Oh
throat, like,
yeah.
you need to go to college, you need to go to
Yeah.
college, because they knew college was the indoctrination of this ideology. But now, since the opening, the era of technology, now we have phones, they realized it like, hey, let's move to step number two, because now people have this in their hands.
Yep.
That's why you don't see now people encouraging people, the youth, to go to college. They're like, there is no need anymore. Now you can see radicalized children at the age of 14 or 15 already radicalized because of this.
Yeah.
Now, looking forward, what we see, mostly peaceful protest across the nation. People are being aggressive towards others, and you see the riots. I mean, what happened to George Floyd? You seen burning, pillaging, robbing, but what happened when Charlie Kirk got assassinated? You didn't see all that. So you can see the contrast of being radicalized or be mentally sane, like most of the United States are, and we are divided like 50 and 50, pretty much.
And to be honest with you, I believe that we're actually 60-40, 60 being America, the MAGA movement, or common sense, and the 40% is probably the radical left. They're louder than we are. um and for the most part we believe that they were close to 50%. But
Hmm.
I honestly think, in my opinion, we are the 60% and they're 40%. And we have a chance. And it takes courage, like people like Charlie Kirk. It takes courage to be out there and to talk about these ideas. See, the worst thing that we can do is not talk about it, right? Like
Right.
the Charlie Kirk shooting, right? For example, a lot of us don't believe in what the government is feeding us right now, and that's due to because the destabilization that we're process that we're talking about, and because we have this, we're kind of opening our eyes, like you said, Julio. And guess what? So when I hear all these conspiracy theories, like there's people out there thinking that Charlie Kirk is still alive. He was the one in the jet that left. Then there was the projection, right? And I hear this, and I'm like, oh, to me, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound solid. But you know, just because I don't agree with it, should we silence it? No. In fact, we should, because what's the alternative? Believe what the
Hmm.
government tells you? No, we shouldn't. We're free, free thinkers. We're free Americans, and this what we're doing right now is I hope it touches someone in the world. That way, at least there's more Charlie Kirks out there. And it can only start, like Michael Jackson said, start with the man in the mirror, and then try to keep, I guess, educating. I don't want to say promote because it sounds like propaganda, but basically attack those fallacies with facts. And it's like they say, if you're well grounded, your foundation is solid. Is your house made out of glass or is made out of brick? And the more the more you have facts. Like what we're doing right now, we're trying to educate us and everyone that's looking at this to see the enemy's plan, because we like to stand in a very solid foundation. So if we ever get to a debate, and we ever get to we might touch someone's lives, we know the facts. And when they try to spew the propaganda, we can identify it now, because guess what? We're seeing the strategy.
Right.
And it just, we'll just continue and just keep chugging on. I'm sorry for rambling.
No, you're good.
Here we go.
Obviously does something wrong. If it's a free democratic society, there are many different movements within the society. There are obviously in every society there are people who are against this society. They may be simple criminals, ideologically in disagreement with the state policy, conscientious enemies, simply psychotic personalities who are against anything, right? And finally, there are a small group of agents of a foreign
Sounds like our
nation,
leftists.
I
bought,
know.
subverted, recruited, right? The moment all these movements will be directed in one direction, right? This is the time to catch that movement and to continue it until the movement forces the whole society into collapse, into crisis, right? So that's exactly the martial art tactic.
Wow.
We don't stop an enemy.
Wow, Julio. Wow, dude. That was the George Floyd. That was the 2015. What was the other guy? The one that tried to take the cop's gun. Um,
Oh yeah,
Michael Brown.
Michael
That's
Brown.
all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, all that started going crazy. Guess what? This
The race
organization was,
hustlers.
yeah, it was going into BLM, and guess what? They were socialists. And look, they're, oh, bro, he just explained that.
Yeah, like on that moment, like when he's saying like you got different movement, you got Antifa, now you have like you got all the LGBTQ, you got BLM, like they all three they were protesting. Remember,
Okay, and
all
then on
three.
top of the max, yeah, on top of that, right? Then we added mega because Donald Trump's coming out. So we're just like all just scrambling around, like you said. That's when
Yeah,
they came in. We were distracted on the rhetoric from what they were saying while they were educating our kids, dude.
yeah, and they
Oh,
was spewing that propaganda 24/7. Like how many times you heard the same wording like Project Mockingbird on the news? They was
yeah,
repeating the same thing over
the
and
same thing
over and
over and
over.
over. They're
So
still
that
doing that.
they're still doing that, and that's what we're seeing right now. Like once, like I hope if somebody see this, open your eyes, see like basically what we're trying to take is the mask of the enemy, so you can see their faces
Yep.
to discern what's going on. Because discernment is the key right here. Discernment. Once you see it, once you understand it, you'll be able to see the truth.
Yep. Let's go.
Him go. We help him to go in the direction we want them to go. Okay? So, on the stage of demoralization, obviously there are tendencies in each society, in each country, which are going to opposite direction from the basic moral values and principles. To take advantage of these movements, to capitalize on them, is the main purpose of the originator of subversion. So we have religion, we have education, we have social life, we have power structure, we have labor relations, unions, and finally we have law and order. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? These are the areas of application of subversion. What it means exactly? In case of religion, destroy it, ridicule it, replace it with various sects, cults, which bring people's attention, faith.
Bro, I mean, I don't know how much clearer that is. You know, we've removed that
We
into
remove
sex.
God from the.
This is really, really, really,
It
really
is.
troubling, Julio.
Yeah, it is troubling, and that's what happening right now. We are seeing the destruction of the religion. Now, it is Muslims and against the Christians, and the Christians against the Muslims, and it's a whole battle. They already destabilized the religion. What are they going to do next? Academia, they already did that. What
Yeah,
what 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 happened after that? Well, after that is entertainment. They already done it.
yeah. Well,
So
see, it says here, religion and this is part of the lecture here that he's giving. He's saying that religion to ridicule and replace the traditional religion, which what was the traditional religion here was
Christianity.
Protestant Christianity. Yes.
Yep.
So it says to ridicule the traditional religion with cults or sects to elude faith. What's been going on, brother?
Yeah, the
Mm-mm-mm.
propaganda of porn and all this stuff. It is being disseminated pretty much.
Whether it is naive, primitive, doesn't really matter. As long as the basically accepted religious dogma is being slowly eroded and taken away from the supreme purpose of religion to keep people in touch with the supreme being, that serves the purpose. Therefore, replace accepted, respected religious organizations with fake organizations. Distract people attention from the real faith and attract them to various different faiths. Education.
That's the right thing.
Distract them
Muslims, I
from
know.
learning something which
Yeah,
is
that
constructed.
right there. Distract them with another religion, Muslims,
The Muslim or
the LGBT.
prosperity gospel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They don't talk about the Bible. They don't talk about the scripture.
Yeah, they
What they
just
talk
talk
about?
about how God can bless
Give
you.
me money so God can give you money. So Jesus can make you prosperous, which is a total lie.
Mm-mm-mm.
Buy my book. Donate to the church. Give me the 10% that God commands you to give. And what are they doing? These pastors, and we have many here in Houston, they're living in
Mansions
mansions of 10, 14 million, $20 million mansions,
with their private
airplanes,
jets.
private jets, different cars. They're selling books, and they were smiling. And well, they don't talk about God.
They're just talking about the prosperity of it.
Yeah, which is they're gonna make their money, but not you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Yes, Schofield Bible. Yep.
All right, here we go.
Let's talk along, man. We got
This
ways to
part is
go.
probably gonna, yeah, this part is gonna be crazy. I can already tell.
Pragmatic, efficient. Instead of mathematics, physics, foreign languages, chemistry, teach them history of urban warfare, natural food, home economy, your sexuality, anything, as long as it takes you away. Okay? Social life. Replace traditionally established institutions and organizations with fake organizations. Take away the initiative from people. Take away the responsibility from naturally established links between individuals, group of individuals, and society at large, and replace them with artificially, bureaucratically controlled bodies.
Yep.
Instead of social
NGO,
life
NGO.
and friendship between neighbors, establish social workers institutions. People who are on payroll of whom? Society? No. Bureaucracy.
yeah.
The main
NGO,
concern of social
nonprofit.
workers is not your family, not you, not social relations.
Yeah, NGOs, right?
NGOs and nonprofits, man. I'm telling you, they just like give me the money, I will distribute it for you. That's what they do, and they keep 80%, 90% of the money you gave them
Dude,
because they have to
this is
do the
nuts,
payroll.
dude.
It is
This
crazy.
is nuts. This is
Like
like
that's how most of the people get millionaires.
no, but
Nonprofits.
what I'm freaking out, Julio. What I'm freaking out is that there is a video out here in front of the world telling you from the 1983
Yep.
what's going on right now, and we didn't know. We were just all worried about,
The
bro.
Netflix movie. That's what people were being worried about. They're not seeing this. Just share
This
this
is
video, guys. Share this because this is going to be a lengthy video today. And I'm sorry, you have to probably eat later, but you probably
Yeah,
eat
we're
us.
just and you know what, guys? As long as you watch this later down the road, I really believe you need to watch this though. Not just for our benefit, obviously, but it's just this is for the benefit of our country or from like someone that's from Australia. I mean, they're going through this too, you know? I mean, these are like Julio said, we're taking the mask off the enemy. This is so crazy. There you go.
Different groups of people. The main concern is to get the paycheck from the government. What will be the result of their social work doesn't really matter. They can develop all kind of concepts to show to the government and to the people that they're useful. Okay, away from the natural links, power structure. Okay, the natural bodies of administration, which are traditionally either elected by people at large or appointed by elected leaders of society, are being actively substituted by artificial bodies. The bodies of people, groups of people, whom nobody elected. Never. As a matter of fact, most of the people don't like them at all, and yet they exist. One of such group is media. Who elected them? How come they have so much power? Almost monopolistic power on your mind. They can rape your mind. But who elected them? How come they have a nerve to decide what is good and what is bad for the elected by you, president, and his administration? Who the hell are they? Spiro Agnew, who was hated by the liberal left, called them a bunch of enfeebled snobs. And that's exactly what they are. They think they know. They don't. The level of mediocrity. In a big establishment like New York Times, Los Angeles Times, major television network, you don't have to be excellent journalist. You have to be exactly a mediocre journalist. That's easier to survive. There's no competition anymore. You have your good, nice income, $100,000 a year. That's it. Whether you are better or worse doesn't really matter anymore.
Hey, man, now them journalists are making $500,000, bro. I
Millions.
mean, yeah, millions too. Yeah. Oh yeah, like, dude, yeah, millions. What's her name? The chick that looks like Michael Knowles. I can't think
Oh
of her
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Dude,
Rachel Maddow.
yeah, she's making millions, dude. Like, that is just crazy to me. And like you
Yes.
said, they don't even have to be good. They don't have to be good.
And they're repeating the same thing. Like Project Mockingbird. I mean, they're repeating the same thing over and over until they repeat it so many times that it becomes your reality, even though it's not. They will make you believe. They did it with Trump.
Yeah.
Like they did it with Trump.
And
When you
remember,
ask people, honestly, I honestly believe, like when you ask people, why do you hate Trump so much? They could not
because of
give
the
you
media.
a concrete answer of, oh, I hate him because this or that. When you ask him like what channel do you watch? Where do you get your news from? They will say MSNBC, ABC, CNN, Fox, mainstream media. That's where they're getting their information. And that is, man, it is crazy. It is crazy. So let's check along. We got ways to go.
As you're smiling to the camera and do your job. That's it. No more competition. Power structure slowly is eroded by the bodies and groups of people who do not have neither qualification nor the will of people to keep them in power, and yet they do have power. Okay. Together with that, there is another process. Law enforcement, law and order organization and structure is being eroded. For the last 20, 25 years, if you see old movies and new movies, you can see that in new movies, a policeman, an officer of the United States Army looks dumb, angry, psychotic, paranoid. A criminal looks nice, kind of, well, he smokes hash and shoots the whatever drug. But basically, he's a nice human being. He's creative. And he's unproductive only because society oppresses him. Whereby a general of Pentagon is always, by definition, a war maniac. A policeman is a pig, rude policeman. He abuses his power. No? A generalization like that. The hatred, the mistrust to the people who are supposed to protect you and enforce law and order. Moral relativity. The Angelo Buono process lasted 2 years in Los Angeles. And yet there are still some lawyers who say, look, he's a nice character, as a matter of fact. There was some witness who said, also a criminal, who said, well, he's a nice guy. I asked him one day to burn a house of my enemy, and he wouldn't do it. He's a nice fella.
You know, real quick, Julio, one thing that Mariano, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but Kanye isn't as crazy as they said, man.
I know, and like he make a good analogy, and that's what happened. That's what happening now. Like look at uh, the country which they call themselves our greatest ally. What do they do?
I know.
They use us to invade all the nations. That's what they do. Don't do they? They all the time. Like when they have issues, they come to United States. Hey, give me weapons, give me money, give me resources, give me your people to fight for my country. And what they do in return? Nothing. Do they put food on the ground when we went to Iraq and Afghanistan? I didn't see any.
Hey, and you know, he's saying 48 laws of power. Well, that's the thing. This is highlighting everything that's going on. What do you just right now? We're law and order, right? He says undermine trust in law enforcement and military through media portrayals of police as brutal and criminals makes criminals sympathetic. You know, have sympathy for the criminals. And to me, I'm just like, that's what the left has been doing. You know, it just that's so crazy to me. And I'm sorry, it's just I'm still surprised, Julio, that there's this video out here in for free in YouTube out here of this lecture telling us our own demise. And we just, you know, a lot of us don't even know that exists. It's crazy. All right.
Just
Continuing.
real quick before we move forward. I just fact check myself, right?
Okay.
Make sure I didn't say anything stupid, and I was right. Israel participation in Iraq or Afghanistan? No, they did not participate either in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yeah. We've been fighting the war for them.
Why did not
We've been
participate? Why they didn't send bodies? Like they called themselves our greatest ally. Why they didn't send bodies? Why they didn't put boots on the ground? Hell no, they don't care.
Yep.
But
They
in
send our
return,
children.
if Iran shoot at them, we have to provide them with the Iron Dome. We have to provide them with intelligence. Ain't that some shit?
That's so crazy, dude.
I know.
But we're anti-Semites, right?
I'm just telling you.
I know.
A slow substitution of basic moral principles, whereby a criminal is not a criminal actually. He's a defendant. Even
That's
if
what
his
they're
guilt is
doing.
proven, there is still a doubt to kill or not to kill, to be or not to be. Thou shalt not kill, yes, but this line may not necessarily be applicable to a murderer. Thou shalt not murder. That should be the presumption, not that thou shalt not kill. Okay, labor relations. At this stage, within 15 to 20 years, we destroy the traditionally established links of bargaining between employer and employee. The classical Marxist-Leninist theory of natural exchange of goods. A person A has 5 sacks of grain and person B has 5 pairs of shoes. And the natural exchange without money is when they bargain between each other. And only with the introduction of the third force, C, an entirely third foreign stranger who says, no, don't give him 5 sacks of grain, give it to me. and you give me your 5 pairs of shoes, and I will distribute it accordingly, so that the economy will go. This is the death of natural exchange.
Dude, bro. Oh my gosh. And this is something basic that we should know. And for the most part, growing up, Julio, a lot of the Democrats before never trust their government.
Yeah,
And
they did
when
not.
yeah, they didn't. And they supposedly claim that they still don't. Yet when someone like Donald Trump comes, who's not part of the government, they're spewing out that he's for the rich, he's not for the government. We want more government, more social to do the very thing that this man is explaining right now. And it's like, we still want to bargain with each other. We don't want Big Brother to do that. And that's what
Right.
socialism is. It's like, you know what, Julio? In order for me to get paid, we're going to give it to this guy. And then this guy, like, we don't need that. Oh
We
my
don't.
gosh, dude.
We want less government, but like at one point, the Democrats, I believe the Democrats were center, moderate on the 80s and early 90s. They became more radicalized left at the beginning of the 2000s. They start moving left, shifting left a little bit. And the right, it became partially from the far right, they came to the middle just a little bit. Now they moved back to the far right, and the left moved to the further left. So there is hard, like I would call independence in the middle, in my opinion, because they can see both sides. But now we're so polarized uh, that we are kind of like we seeing our side of the equation. We don't see the other side, and that's what happened with the left. The left is now far left. Even people from the left, they call themselves uh, Democrats. They just jumping ship. They just jumping. In the
I
last
know.
few days, a lot of Democrats they're like, man, you guys are too crazy. You guys way you guys went way beyond left, and they move into the center or they become independent. And that's the reality of it. A lot of Democrats became independent after the shooting of Charlie Kirk, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this is the right, the left. I don't like I told you, they're gonna lose like 10 seats on the next election. And but I won't be surprised if Mandani wins New York because that would be a disaster
Yeah, that would
on
be a
itself.
disaster. That would be a very bad disaster.
That death of natural bargaining. Well, trade unions were established 100 years ago. The objective was to improve working conditions and to protect the rights of workers from those employers who were abusing their right because they had more money. Objectively, at that time, initially, the trade union movement did work. What we see now is that the bargaining process is no longer resulting in the compromise, which is leading objectively to betterment of working conditions and increase of salary. What we see is that after each prolonged strike, the workers lose. Even if they have 10% increase of their salaries, they cannot catch up due to inflation and due to missed time. More than that, millions of people suffer from that strike because economy now is interdependent. It's intertwined like one body. If previously steel workers, say 100 years ago, could strike and nobody would suffer, now it's impossible anymore. If a garbage collector strikes today, the rest of the multi-million city is stinking. I mean, there's no more service. In Quebec, for example, we had the electricians who were on strike in the middle of winter. You can freeze your bottom, and they still were on strike. Did they catch up with the salary? No, they lost. Who benefited? The leaders of trade union. What is the motivation for strike? Improving of workers' condition? No, obviously it's not. Then what is it? Ideology. To prove to these capitalists And the obedient horde of workers, like sheep, follow these people. And they cannot disobey. Why? Because if they do, you know what happens to them? Pickets, murders, shooting truck drivers by picketers. In Montreal, for example, I saw with my own eyes when I was correspondent of CBC International, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, when the workers of aircraft factory destroyed computers and the equipment in the factory. And the administration employed strike breakers. Their cars were turned upside down and burned. Their houses were burned. Their kids were intimidated. And some victims were there. Of that we can be sure. Why? To improve conditions of workers? No. Ideology. Okay, so this is what happens basically. It may or may not happen without the help of the Soviet Union. But the natural tendencies are being greatly taken advantage of and capitalized by the Soviet propaganda systems. How? Whenever trade union strikes, we have influx of propaganda, mass media, ideological dissemination. The workers' right, and we repeat it like parrots. Yes, workers' right. Whose rights? Workers? No. The only freedom of worker to sell his labor according to his own desire and will is taken away from him. By whom? By trade union boss. Unlimited power is given. Responsibility. I want to sell my labor not for $2.50 an hour, but for $2. I don't have right. My freedom is denied to me. I know that if I sell my work for $2 an hour, not for $3 an hour, I will compete better with the other guy who is lazy and more greedy. I don't need $3. I need only $2. No, I was made to believe by media, by business, by advertising agencies that I need more and more and more. Have you ever heard any advertising on TV to consume less? No. No way. Whether you need a six-cylinder car or not, you have to buy it. And hurry up. When I was driving here on the local radio station, an excited announcer said, "You hurry up, rush and save, save, save. There is a pantyhose sale." Save by buying more. Of course. It would be too naive to expect that KGB makes that advertising agency to do such a crazy commercial. No, of course not. But what we did when I was working for Novosti Press, we would snow plow editorial offices, student organizations, religious groups with literature of class struggle, if not directly Marxism-Leninism propaganda, then a propaganda of a legitimate aspirations of working class, betterment of life, equality. Equality, mind you. President Kennedy once said, we will make America to believe that people are born equal. Are people born equal? Mm-mm. Is there any mentioning in the Bible or any other holy scripture in any religion, if you don't believe me, go to the library and check it. There is not a single word about equality. Just the opposite. By your deeds, God will judge you. What you do is important. The merit of your personality. You cannot legislate.
See, that's something very, very powerful right there. You see, and I guess around this time, they weren't using that word equity. But what he's saying that, they were trying to make it equal when they're born. That's equity. And it's just so still just shocking, Julio, that this information is out here, and we're just so naive.
I want to say something that I heard by somebody else, and they were mentioning communist or socialist. They like to use makeup. In which sense? They like to disguise the reality, the real intentions by calling everything so glorious, like equality, by saying, "Oh, we're gonna make everything better, like communal quality, social justice." They like to wear that makeup of righteousness, when in reality, it is not. It is a destructive ideology that only benefit one group, and that would be the politicians. It is a pyramid scheme, and they're using everybody else to get themselves to the top, and that's the bottom line. It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Don't matter. It doesn't matter how you slice it, how you cut it, how you divide it. At the end, it will be the politicians and the power at B that will remain at power, and everybody else will be discarded. And
Yeah.
that's why they call the useful idiots. Honestly, and people do not realize it. They don't see it because they so brainwashed on, oh, we're gonna become equal. We're gonna be
They're
better.
just
This
so
economy.
focused on this carrot. That's it.
Oh yeah, I know. At the
You
end,
know,
they will be discarded, no longer in use, and but when they realize it is over, it's too late. You know what I mean? When they realize it is too late, we I would say once it's finished with his first demoralization, tomorrow we're coming back with number two, and it's gonna be a series of videos until Saturday, until we complete it. The whole circle, because if we stay on this topic, it would take like 4 hours to break everything down.
we are at 2650. But for for everyone, um, I hope we get something from what we just seen right now, and really digest what we watched, um, because it's telling from what we're going through. And the
It
reason
is.
why we want to know this type of stuff is so when we see it again, because right now we're changing the culture. MAGA is changing the culture. We're at to a point where we're getting our bearings back on again. But again, just like how I always repeat it, we're all subject to be brainwashed. We're all subject to fall in this again. No one's holier than thou. No one's greater. The only thing that we can do is learn this. And like Julio said, this is basically unmasking, like Scooby Doo. You unmask the criminal, the monster, and you find out it's the person that was supposed to be your friend. And
I know.
sometimes that sucks, but to avoid that is to be vigilant and learn this. And if we watch this, it may seem boring, but that's why I wanted again, uh for those who jumped in before it started, go back to the beginning, and I tried to explain the best way of what subversion means. And yeah, I honestly think we're a victim of that right now.
Yes, we are. Just I want to share this with you guys. This is our page. Our page is live right now. You can go ahead and look our page, buy some merch, get some today. We're running low. We already sold almost everything, but get on it. We still got few shirts left, I believe. Uh, just check in. If I don't have your size, I will reply back. But mostly probably I have it. But if I don't have it, I will let you. So you have our episodes here. You click on the picture, it will take you to the actual specific
In
video.
fact, click on one right now.
Yeah, let's go. Like for example, JJ Carroll, and it will open a
One of my
window.
favorite
For
little gifts
example,
to give.
it
It
would
looks
Mad though.
so
it will
simple
take you
and
there. It
elegant,
will
and I
take you to
love
the
how it
video.
has that
Let me skip. It will jump, and it will take you to the actual video. Let's load up.
Already here in America, we're over
It will take
50
you to the
million.
video.
So 1 in 6 to
So
1 in 7 residents in the
it's
United States of
pretty it's
America is
pretty
a legal
cool. It's
alien,
pretty
and they're
handy. It
reproducing
takes
at a
you right
5
there
times the ratio.
to the video. So let me share
It's a
this.
bad math problem.
There we go.
And I
Boom.
encourage everyone and invite everyone, click on the Nick Tran one. Hear his story out. And if
Yeah,
you're in the 8th district in Montgomery, click this right there. I will say it's a very very good American story. You would think it's like off a movie, but this is his real life story.
yeah,
So
I know.
um, I'm I really encourage y'all to
Yeah.
do
All these stories, I have to put more in there because this is more videos that we have done in the past. But definitely, all these videos deserve to be seen, especially JJ Carroll. You have Lou Valentino here, also it's a good story. You got, you got the Predator poacher, Alex Rosen with us. You got Kawul Malahi, Special Forces guy, the only Afghan American Special Forces, and you got Nick Tran that also served in three different wars. He served uh, in the 90s, and then he got a break in service, and then he served again in 2001. He served in Iraqi freedom and Afghanistan. So pretty cool guy. And this is our shout out of our studio. And let us know. Like you can contact us if you want it, or just follow us in social media. So that's what we hold on. We kind of there we go. Let me stop it right now. So that's where you can find us. I really appreciate you guys being here today. Tomorrow we're gonna continue with the stage number two because it's a lot of stuff. But tomorrow we're gonna be in stage number two. We're gonna dive into it. We're gonna explain it, dissect it, and make sure everybody's up to speed. But if you've seen this and just go, if you've seen part number two, go back to number one. We'll let you know tomorrow. But I really appreciate it. I hope you get something out of it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, give us a shout out if you've seen this video later on. Just drop a comment. Would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Robert, thank you so much.
Yep. All right, guys. You guys have a great one. Be blessed, and we'll
This
see
is the
y'all
church right
tomorrow.
here. Yes, son. We got a few left.
Get you some of the shirts.
Oh, and by the
Help us
way,
out.
some people been asking like what is in the back, and we have a Bible verse on the back.
See, John 11,
Cool.
25, verse 26.
All
Yep.
right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Holla at your boy. Robert, thank you, my brother. Have a good lunch. Spend time with your family. I will do the same. Take care. God bless you. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Ah, the best. Bye bye.